Timer.
Alright, hold on real quick. Just need to go to the title screen. Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, this is Gex3 Deep Cover Gecko. This is the PS1 version. There's also an N64 version. We treat those as separate categories. This is any % no wrong warp. Beat the game as fast as possible without using the wrong warp into the final boss. So that's the first remote. It is literally free. We need to actually meet the 30 remote requirement, since, as I said earlier, the wrong warp is banned in this category. So we get to see a lot more of the game, a lot more tricks, etc. Alright, so I'm going to jump on this bench, up to this wall, be a little careful, and out of bounds. And the camera likes to fidget around here. If you've ever played these games, you know the camera is not your friend. And we're now in the final room of the level. So the objective for this remote is to kill these 5 snowboarding elves. They're kind of RNG based, but they're pretty easily manipulable, as you can see. They're usually not a problem. There's a bonus level that involves them, and you're forced on the skateboard. Snowboard. And it's just absolute hell to hit them there, but since we aren't on this snowboard here, it's pretty easy to hit them. Alright. So that's the first remote. Alright, so each level has 4 remotes. There's 3 hidden in the level, and then the last one you get by getting 100 fly coins. We don't get any of those though, so each level we get usually 3 remotes, sometimes 2. Alright, I didn't mean to do this remote next, but I might as well. So you gotta break these 5 ice sculptures, well, create these ice sculptures rather. Oh, I cannot see. Nice tail kick. I don't tail kick into this loading zone because it likes to face you in the opposite direction when you go to the next room. And that's the objective done. Now I just gotta go get the remote, and tail kick I will never get in a run. Nope, didn't get it. It is possible on the PS1 version, it's just really, really difficult. So that's the second remote. We get one more remote in here. And if you don't know by now, this game is based on a whole bunch of TV and movie genre parodies. Each level is a different one, so this is a Christmas-themed level. It's called Totally Scrooged. We call it Christmasland affectionately. And it's also very appropriate that this is in December. And now here's Evil Santa. And he throws his presents at you, you gotta hit him back. These presents have pretty finicky hitboxes, so what's kind of important in this remote is to find a consistent method to hit the presents. What you see I do here is just move to the right a bit, and then tail whip them. Most people seem to tail bounce on them, which also works. Just do whatever's best for you, though. And that's Totally Scrooged. Alright, so there's 4 hub worlds in this game. This is mission control. We don't really do much in the hub worlds. This one we actually do a little bit in, but not until after the next level, which is a detective-themed level. It's called Clueless in Seattle. And this is the introduction of a trick called TV canceling. So, basically TV canceling is a pretty loose definition. There's a few ways to pull it off, but generally it's a way of grabbing a remote without being forced outside of a level. Whoops. I actually do want to take damage, but I typically don't take damage from that lawn chair. I have a pretty lousy track record with this TV cancel in Marathon, so... Got it! So as you see, that bear kills me, and my corpse lands on the button. So I grab the remote, and I'm still in the level. So for this next remote, normally you're supposed to go into the hedge maze and hit a statue to unlock a Dracula outfit that lets you glide around. I actually walked right past it, but it plays an unskippable cutscene, and I also have to walk to the Dracula outfit. It just wastes time, so we can just do these pretty tight tail bounces up to the blood floors. This objective is actually just a complete rehash of a couple of remotes from Gex 2, Enter the Gecko. So there's one more remote we do in this level, and it's probably the longest remote in the run. It's almost tied with another remote a little later on. But this is one of the more boring remotes of the game. So the objective is to find and beat 3 minigames. So the first one is on this mounted stuffed bear head, who for some reason, despite being a severed head with no blood in it, it attracts fleas, and we have to kill the fleas. And you can see they're clearly sucking on the bear, and like I said, it's stuffed and preserved, so there's no blood in it, but video game logic, because we've never heard that before. I don't want to die there. You don't die, you just fail the challenge, and you have to restart it. So you get a bonus coin. There's a few other collectibles in this game aside from the remotes and fly coins. There's also paw coins, which there's 150 throughout the game. If you collect 25, you gain an extra hit point, and then the bonus coins, which there are 45 in the game, and unlocks bonus levels throughout the game. So this is the second challenge. It's in the sink. You just have to pop these bubbles. It's a decently it's not really that challenging of a one cycle. In 100%, because you gotta get that paw coin there, the one cycle is actually very tight. But here, since we don't have to get it, it's relatively easy. And interesting thing, you actually take advantage of this in 100%, is that if you beat the challenges and get the bonus coins, the TV will activate as usual. And if you leave the level, like say you get another remote, and I didn't tail bounce there, but if you leave the level and come back, the TV for this remote will still be activated, because I guess the flag is just, you need the bonus coins and we already have them, so the TV will stay active. So this is the last one. It's on this pool table, and you have to destroy these bouncing evil balls. And a side effect of me starting the challenge from farther away than you're supposed to, as you can see, is that the timer starts a little late. Alright, and that's the last bonus coin. There's 3 in each level, and there are 10 paw coins in each level. And I mentioned 100 fly coin remotes. There are exactly 100 fly coins in each level. So routing in 100% is pretty interesting. So earlier I mentioned a Dracula outfit that lets you glide around. There's also one in Mission Control, and we're gonna grab it and we're gonna do some interesting stuff with it. Alright, so just zoom into his portrait, and now we are Dracula, kind of. Alright, so we're gonna go over here, get on top of the Funky Town door, bounce on the camera. I didn't expect to get it like that, but take advantage of this sloped wall, which lets us glide up it. Now we're out of bounds, and I use this door as a visual cue. Alright, hopefully I didn't fall down too much. I shouldn't have. Alright, I'm fine. So now we're at the end of the tutorial section, and there's a remote at the end of it, obviously, because going through the tutorial section normally has a whole bunch of unskippable dialogues and cutscenes, which obviously take forever. So this is the next hub world, Lake Flaccid. And by the way, I would like to remind everyone watching, no premarital Gex is allowed. Alright, up next is Holy Moses. It's an Egyptian-themed level, and this is the first really broken level of the run. So, earlier I mentioned TV canceling, and what you saw earlier in Clueless was a deaf TV cancel. This will be the introduction of another form of TV canceling, which I'll get to when we get to it. So, quick shot that mummy, which is the first objective. And, by the way, I should also mention I'm going to try to one-cycle this level. So I'm going to get all 3 remotes, at least try to, in one visit. So that mummy is subject to the first objective is to kill those mummies who are already dead, but whatever, and get their staffs. Next one is to kill these 3 Anubises, Anubi, whatever the plural is. And actually, at first one, you have to kill just to continue through the level. Alright. Oops. Okay, so you gotta kill this spider, I guess. And platforms will appear. You go into this room. Damage boost that just to save some frames. Alright, here's the next mummy. As you can see, when he gets out the coffin, he likes to do the stupid dance. Alright, get his next staff. Alright, so this is where things get really interesting. So, they made a camel. He exists for this one room of the entire game, and you're not supposed to bring him out, so he's kind of useless in that regard, but we can give him some extra use. So if I just spam jump against this wall, I can climb it with the camel, and the camel can just kind of float along in the air as long as you keep jumping. And if you've ever played this game, as a kid you probably theorized ways of getting the camel out of this room. I know I certainly did. And that's how you can do it. So we're going to use this camel to TV cancel. Before I get to that, I need to explain something very important that doing this does. Now, I'm not 100% sure of the technical aspects of why this happens, but basically, doing this, bringing the camel out of bounds or whatever, causes the death planes to be raised in this level, and this is going to be a major concern in this next room coming up, where I'm going to land on this bit of raised land, as you can see, and the land around it is the death plane, and I have to kill this Anubis on top of it, and I'm not used to this camera angle. So, okay, I'm fine. And if you grab a collectible, like you saw there briefly, the camel likes to just freak out and just move all crazily to its own accord. Alright, so last mummy's in here. I'm actually going to need to get the staff while on the camel, or else the camel will despawn. So I mentioned tail whip TV canceling earlier. Basically, if you tail whip right before you press a button on a TV, you can start to chain your tail whips together. Now, the initial tail whip is no problem, but every tail whip after that one has to be every 18 frames. So I'm going to do 2 back-to-back TV cancels. The first one is pretty easy, since all it requires is that initial tail whip. But the second one, since I've already TV canceled, it's going to want to force me out of the level if I get off the camel. So what I'll have to do is basically throw myself onto the button and do a frame-perfect tail whip, pretty much. So that's the first one, piece of cake. Alright, here's the next one. By the way, that first TV cancel, I have to be careful with the camera angle there, or else the button can despawn on this one. I missed it, that's okay. Like I said, it's frame perfect. So that loses about a minute. So I just gotta go back in for the last remote, which is just to ride the camel to the temple, or whatever it is, which is the remote you're supposed to use him with. Which is the simplest remote of the level. And like I said, I had to kill this Anubis just to continue through the level. Oops. Wanted to tail kick before the cutscene starts, but I didn't, and I lost my momentum. Momentum in this game basically is when you start moving, you move slow for about half a second, and then Gecko starts to move fast, and it's when you start moving fast that you can tail kick, which is obviously the fastest way of moving in the game. So, some downtime. I guess I could explain the wrong warp, how it works. So, the wrong warp, in any percent, your main collectible is actually bonus coins rather than remotes. And you collect enough bonus coins to unlock a bonus level in Funky Town, and you basically tail whip TV cancel off of it. You get a chicken outfit before it, so you can fly into the loading zone with the final boss TV. And you have to have a pretty precise camera angle, or else the game will crash. And that's any percent in this version, and any percent no item duplication in N64. The N64 version actually has item duplication, where if you grab a bonus coin and leave the level before the animation of it going above your head starts, and do it in just the right time, the bonus coin, and I think you can do it with paw coins as well, but the coin will add to your inventory, but if you go back in the level, it's still there, and you can just keep duping them until you have enough. Oops. Alright. So up next is a military-themed level called War is Heck. This is one of the more straightforward levels in the run. There's not a whole lot of tech to it, just some optimization. So first remote is to destroy these 5 tents. There's actually a death abuse you can do to skip a cutscene that's otherwise unskippable, but it's incredibly precise. Basically, that sergeant there, you let him kill you right after you destroy that final tent, but before this cutscene starts. It's incredibly precise, so I don't do it. Alright, that's the first remote. Alright, so for this next remote, we go into this next area, and there's a tank, of all things. So we gotta use the tank to destroy a bunch of buildings, and then some of them are bug crates that we have to squash or just break. There's one in there, I'll get it later. There's one here. By the way, great meme right here, you can't run over fire hydrants with the tank. Well, you can if you try hard enough, but it's just like you kind of awkwardly go over it, and it's just like a polygon. It's not like you squish it or break it. Also, I can skip that cutscene. What am I doing? That's the second remote. Alright, so one more remote. It's actually, I'd say, the most interesting remote. A lot of people seem to not like it, but it's basically to destroy a bunch of searchlights in the next area. And it's mostly just optimization, and it's fun to optimize. There's not really much else to it, it's just do it fast. And it can be kind of tough to optimize for a few reasons. One, the searchlights have kind of wonky hitboxes, and two, there are these grenades that come down via parachute. And they have really stupid blast radiuses, so they have very wide blast radiuses, but there's a few things that can make it so you don't get hit by them, such as being on a gun. Or I think being in the air can also do it. That was really slow. That one's simple, you just hold it down. Whoa, whoa, okay. Ooh. There we go. One too high and then too low. Oops. Alright, that's all the searchlights. Now I can go in here and get this thing that looks like an Odyssey 2 cartridge. That has res on it, who's the final boss, spoiler alert. And that activates the TV. Or rather, a helicopter brings it down. And that's War is Heck. By the way, if you've ever played this game, you probably know that Gex is a blabbermouth who never shuts up. Before the run starts, you start a new game and turn off the voices, and if you go into a different game, as in we'll start a new game, the effects will just carry over, and this skips him pausing when going through a TV to say something, and obviously it saves a ton of time. So this next level is a pirate-themed level called Cut Cheese Island, and they made this really long and elaborate platforming section that you have to go through to get all 3 remotes. But we can just do this, and then this, and we skip pretty much all of it, and then another pretty difficult skip actually, and it's a lot more minor, but I got it. That pirate can actually knock you off the platform, so be careful. Anyway, normally in this room you're supposed to go down those holes to avoid this wall of death, but we just go to the side, and it lets us skip a cycle. Alright, and you can't tail kick that TNT to activate, you have to tail whip it. And that's the first remote. This is the first of 2 levels that I only get 2 remotes in. So for the next remote, I'm just going to do the same thing for the first bit, for like the first 2/3 of the remote. Because basically the way this level works is designed is that you saw that section. Like I said, there's also this really long platforming section to even get there, and then you have that room, and then there's a door that I didn't go through, but I will be going through it, and that leads to the outside of the ship, and there's 2 more remotes there. I hope chat doesn't find this game too boring. These games aren't that popular when it comes to speedrunning, which is a real shame because they are very good games. So this trick is kind of hard, but I got it. Alright, that's Cut Cheese Island. Up next, I'm going to do a little trick that you don't do in this category, you only do in 100%, but it's really funny. So there's this gate blocking a bonus TV that you normally have to flick a switch to destroy it, but we can just flick our tongue and do that. But like I said, you only do it in 100%. Alright, so there's one more level to do here in Lake Placid, so I'm going to go to it, obviously. Alright, kind of a tricky tail bounce here. Got it. The wrestling likes to knock you off. Alright, so this is a Western-themed level. Obviously, you can tell Western Station. It's called the Oregon Trail. This level is also pretty broken in the same fashion that Holy Moses is. I'm gonna go for a kind of a precise skip that doesn't even save that much time, and I got it. So there's a donkey who functions just like the camel. He actually is used throughout the entire level, but he's slower than just tail kicking, so we abandon him, but he will keep respawning throughout the level. So first remote is to collect these 5 cards. My PB is 52:35, I think, which is also world record. So that's the second card. Up next, I'm gonna do some slope jumps with the donkey. And then up next is the first TV cancel of the level. Alright. And you can despawn collectibles if your camera angle is facing them, but that's not really important in this category, only 100%. I cannot get world record after failing that Holy Moses TV cancel. It's impossible at this point. And then go over here to Death Abuse. I actually walked a little farther than I should. And I didn't get the checkpoint. Oh, that's bad. I'm an idiot. That's okay. That is Oakley Dokley. Yeah. Obviously it loses time, but I can manage. Yeah, there's a checkpoint right next to that donkey I meant to get. And I didn't get it for some reason. Alright, last card. And this is the remote for the 5-card remote. What was that? What was that? The guy who froze his head knocked me off and it made me fail the TV cancel. Oh god, I know that can happen, but that's actually never happened to me, because I'm usually more careful. Okay, so that loses even more time. I'm gonna do that trick again, because it's cool, even though it really doesn't save that much time, and it's pretty difficult. Actually getting it consistently, though, that's funny. Okay, so, next remote, before I do it, I'm gonna make a slight detour, because normally I would, so there's a checkpoint coming up, normally I would get it before death abusing, right there, and, behind this waterfall are a bunch of extra lives, and I need to farm lives here, because there are a lot of death abuses coming up, and, if everything goes accordingly to plan, which it won't, I actually end the run with 0 lives. Alright, so the next remote is to visit the world's largest mound of poop. So these cart cycles are camera-based. Oh! What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm gonna get some more lives, actually. Never mind, I'm not going to, because I'm all the way back here and I didn't get the checkpoint. Because I'm confused. This level's just a disaster. Ooh, ooh, drop my momentum. I'm gonna be a little more careful here. My momentum dropped again. And here is, as advertised in-game, the world's largest mound of poop. And I keep missing the button, so that level went terribly. So that's the end of Lake Flaccid, and we never actually have to fight the boss of Lake Flaccid. So I'm gonna do a save warp. Because we have another way of getting into the next hub world. Alright. So we're back in mission control, and the door to the next hub world is right next to us as well. And obviously it's locked, but I got the yellow clip like immediately. There is a setup to it, but it's obviously slower, so I tend to just do it like that. So this is Slappy Valley, and I have a very important question to ask everyone in chat. Who here likes anime? If so, well, you're in luck. Why is that? Because there is an anime-themed level in this game. It's the anime channel. It's called When Sushi Goes Bad. And this is also the longest level in the run. And it's also pretty broken. It is, however, a very 90s US-centric definition of anime, though, so it basically amounts to only schoolgirls and mechs. So, first remote, as you can see, we're doing an out of bounds. Now, we can't go right to the end of the objective because it doesn't load properly, so basically just land on that little green squarish bit there, and now we can continue on with the objective. And I took damage there. I need to death abuse for this remote anyway, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, the fact that schoolgirls are an enemy in this level is pretty funny, I must admit. So the first objective is to break these 3 tubes. Alright. By the way, you can't skip a single cutscene in this level. There is a trick you can do to skip a cutscene coming up, but that's really it. Like, you can't skip a cutscene in the sense of pressing start to skip it. It's really weird how selective this game is with cutscenes and whether or not they're skippable. So as you can see, things are getting tense. So like I said, this is the longest level in the run. It's also the longest at 100%. It takes an eternity at 100%. Because the way the level is designed is that there are basically 3 paths to take, one for each objective, and you have to go through each of them properly. You can't out of bounds, or else you can't get all of the fly coins. And it's about 14 minutes. Alright, so Death Abuse, like I said. Oops. And that's the first remote. So, you saw earlier how that out of bounds messed with the textures and caused them to not load properly. Like, they're still there, they're still physical, but they're invisible, and you're really gonna see the effects of this next out of bounds I'm doing. The little hinge to the left messed up my camera. Ooh, I hope I can still make it. I don't think I can make it. Oh, I got it. Alright, so that's how you skip a cutscene. And welcome to the Void. So yeah, this is basically going to keep happening for the rest of the remote. It doesn't, the walls don't become visible, so it's pretty fun, and it actually does save time. Oops. Alright, so now we're swimming in the void. Alright. So, the objective is to destroy these 5 mechs. The last 2 are up here. So this glide is kind of tricky because you can't tell where you are. Alright. So that's the objective. Alright, one more remote. This is the other long remote of the run. To speed it up. Alright, so one thing to note with these platforms is that I try to land as close to the center as possible, so because if you don't, Gex will sometimes lose his momentum and then start walking again to the center of the platform. And that takes up a bit of time. And this remote also has a death abuse, so it's okay if I take some damage. Alright. And actually sometimes on these platforms, Gex can just keep moving in circles, and that can actually be faster, but it's pretty difficult to get him to do that. Like, I couldn't get it, nah. I don't know of a consistent way to get it. Alright, so in the final room of this remote. Like I said, I need to death abuse it, and these Reslings are trying to push me off. Oh god. Okay. That is just dandy. Oh, on the bottom, it's just the emulator. Oh god. But yeah, it's the emulator. I don't know exactly why it causes that. So, that was obviously a mistake. That loses a ton of time. Oh man. So this level's also been a huge disaster. And because I died there, I'm not going to do the death abuse. Actually, I could, but I have to get another life on the way. But at the same time, I don't want to be at 0 lives at the end of the game, just because it's a marathon, and if you game over, that's run over. And like, if I game over on the final boss, I can just use a cheat to get to there, but you know, obviously I still don't want to do that because that takes up time. So I'm not going to do the death abuse. Which is just, oh god, this run. I did this category at pre-NASA about a week ago, and that was also a disaster. I actually did game over on the final boss. So this level's taken like, what, 10 minutes now? Because it already takes about like 7.5. Probably closer to 7 actually. And the wrestling better not knock me off. Okay, yeah. You can't actually go over there, okay. Alright. That's the objective complete. Now I have to go get the remote. Oh, camera. Alright. Alright, we're almost out of this level. Everyone really loved this level as a kid, and really it's only because of the song, and the song is great, don't get me wrong, but the level itself isn't that great. It's just not the most well designed because of how tedious and monotonous it is. Alright, so there's 3 levels in this hub area, but I only go to 2 of them. There's the Mythology Network, which, if you've ever played this game, specifically the PS1 version, it is the bane of most people's existence. We don't go to it because it just takes an eternity, but in 100% it is the worst level in the run if you go for the 1 cycle, because it has both a frame-perfect TV cancel and an RNG-based TV cancel. So that is like the worst thing ever. But it's only in 100%. So instead, I go to this Fairy Tales themed level called Red Riding in the Hood. Mythology Network, in the N64 version, the Mythology Network is actually a completely different level, and you do go to it in the N64 category because of that. Alright, so normally I'm supposed to go on those climbable walls, but I can just do this. That one's kind of precise, this one isn't really precise, and then I can't fly to the next one, sadly, because it is too far away. Oops. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna get this checkpoint because I'm gonna death abuse. So the first remote I'm gonna do is to destroy the 3 little piggies' houses. And we're gonna start with the last one. Now, funny enough, you don't have to kill the pigs, but they can still damage you for some reason. Alright, that's the first remote. You would think this level takes a lot longer than it does, but it really isn't that long. Like, the segment time, like, from leaving Anime Channel to beating this and getting all 3 remotes is actually under 6 minutes. Optimally about 5:30. Should be doing this instead of going on to the bridge. Alright, so next remote I'm going to do is there are these 3 candles and you're supposed to jump over them. Just jump over them. I don't know what purpose that serves or why it causes the flame to go out. I guess because it's just the wind from Gex's jump is just so powerful apparently. Alright, that's the last one. Alright, one more remote, and we actually have to go to the top of the beanstalk. And we're just gonna keep going the same way. Like you saw the 3 little pigs remote earlier, it's basically the same thing, just a little extended. By the way, I didn't mention, but these purple leaves have weird hitboxes where you can kind of jump on them, bounce on them as you jump towards them, as you saw there. It's weird. Just do this again. I do it from the outside there to avoid the spider, because he can hit you and will drop you. The camera here is just really weird as well. You cannot bounce up to that bridge, sadly. I believe you can in the N64 version, but not here. Almost got it without the ledge grab. And that's Red Riding in the Hood, and like Lake Placid, we don't have to fight the boss in this hub either. So if you saw the Out of Bounds we did earlier with the Dracula outfit to get the Rec Room remote, we basically just do the same thing, but to get into Funky Town instead. So I don't do a save warp either, it's not any faster. Alright. Now, there's actually ways of getting into Funky Town without getting the Dracula outfit, but they are really inconsistent. One of them involves clipping through the wall by letting the camera push you, like the camera that's just kind of moving left and right above the Funky Town door. This one. Here, just jump on it, and again, take advantage of the slope in the wall, and we're in Funky Town. Alright, so there's only 2 levels in here, plus a boss, the final boss. So we go up here. Down here into the next level. It's a gangster theme level, like 1930s New York gangsters in the time of Prohibition, and it's called My Free Goons. And TV canceling aside, this is the hardest level to run, because it's so easy to take damage. So many things just mow you down with machine guns, and it is brutal. I'm gonna get that life, but I'm gonna get this first. There, I bounced off the crate. That's pretty cool. Alright. I just got the life to be safe. I don't need it, but might as well. Oops. I'm gonna get root beer barrels. So this remote has a def abuse. I tend to try to pick the remote to do based on how much damage I take. And there's a trick that's only used in 100%, but I'm going to show it off here. It lets you walk underwater. Basically, you just flick your tongue as you go underwater. Again, it's no use doing it in this category, I just want to show it off. See? And I need to let this guy kill me anyway. Alright, up next is a very difficult tail bounce. So I want to tail bounce off this barrel up to this wall. There it is. Alright, so another go. Like I said, depending on how much damage I take, I'll do whatever remote is best. Alright. Come on, stop. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna do this remote. I try to do the other remote that I'm not doing right now if I don't take any damage because it is the most brutal. Alright, so you see me keep tail bouncing, it's so I don't get hit by these machine guns. So get this, because I need it to break a lock to free Gex's friend, who is called Cuz. And this lets you unlock a character to play as in the Super TVs, but he's nothing more than a skin change. There's another one of Gex's friends you can free in the first level, Totally Scrooged. Alright, one more remote in this level, and it is a brutal one. So I need to burn 5 bundles of funny money. I'm already taking damage! No! I don't want to take damage. I mean, sure, there's health I can get along the way, but I'd rather not because it takes time. And again, tail bouncing so I don't get hit by the machine guns. Alright. Killed a mouse. I'll get this health. I don't know if I need it. Alright. So there's the first bundle, and then the next 2 are behind this fence, but we can just shoot through the fence. Alright. I'm gonna get this and take it with me. Oops. Come on. Alright, this last building is the trouble spot, because there's so much here that can take away your health. So first we got this guy, then got a bundle of money to burn. Then another guy here, and then there's actually a machine gun guy to the side. And that went really well, actually. Alright, that's my 3 goons. Alright, so there's one more level here. Gotta go back here. We couldn't do it earlier because we were just one remote short of unlocking it. Nice. I tail kick into the wrestling, but it still manages to hit me and made it. Obviously, that's not the intended way to get up here, but obviously it's faster. So this is Super Zeros, a superhero themed level. Now there's two routes I can do. I'm going to do what I call the safe route because it does involve a frame perfect TV cancel, but you do so little of the level that it is a little more marathon safe. The other route is faster, but it involves a TV cancel that's actually easier, but I'm not good at it. Alright, so first we have to kill these 3 stray cats. That one I can just get with the spit power up. It's basically acid, so you're burning it with acid. Poor kitties. And here's the last one. Alright. I missed it. And even if you do get the TV cancel, when you fall down, Gex can actually ledge grab, and that screws you over. Alright, one more remote. Now, there's another route that I plan on doing much later, where I scrap a remote earlier on and get the third remote here instead using a 1 cycle, but it is a very hard route and I have to get the 1 cycle or else that is run over. I mean, obviously I could still do it in marathons, but it loses so much time if you miss any of the TV cancels, especially because ideally that frame perfect TV cancel that you saw just now, that would be right at the end. And if you miss it, then you just lost all your progress. By the way, this is a very, very open-ended level, especially after you get the chicken costume, which lets you glide around. So this is the Mad Bomber. He's very similar to Evil Santa. Oop. Oh, I'm surprised that made it. Alright, I don't want to die here. I have died here before, and it's very embarrassing to do that. And that's 30 remotes. And now we can go to Rez in Channel Z, the final boss, which has its own level accompanying it. Oops. Alright. So the objective here to get to Rez is to flick these 3 levers. Ooh, I don't know what I did there. I almost died. Oh. So there's the first one. I always play it really safe in this level because if you die, you have to do everything all over again. Alright. Thanks, gaming. Just in time for the final boss. Oh god. I tried to do something and I failed. I normally don't do this either. It is not worth it to do this. And it doesn't even save that much time, so I'm not going to do it anymore. Alright, that's the last lever. And now I can go to Rez himself. Alright. So, if you've ever played Gex 2 or are familiar with the runs of it, you'll know that the final boss in that game is very RNG based. This boss, however, has no RNG based, and okay, yeah, I've seen that happen before, but I haven't seen that go on for that long. Alright. Oops. That's okay. Alright. Time is not going to be on the final hit on Res, but so after I beat Res, a cutscene will play, and then a remote will appear over my head, and then a screen will pop up, and time will be when I cancel that screen out. Alright, get ready. And time. And here is the ending. The plot of this game centers around Gex having to rescue this secret agent named Extra, who is played by a Playboy model. And for some reason in this game, they decided to make Gex some pervert. I don't know why. So this is your ending.
I don't know if we can show there's
nothing.
little
There's nothing
issue?
more risque than what you already saw.
Okay.
It only has a T rating, don't worry. And yes, this one part of the game basically warranted a T rating. But the true ending, in my opinion, is this song.
Yeah, but